and these people are not good. BK is not good. And at some point, it's like, man, I have the proof, and you all have seen it. You can go over his channel. He's telling people I'm drinking and driving. That's bullshit. He knows it. He knows that car doesn't move, doesn't run, passenger side. Plus, I'm sure, he was very well informed that Tennessee here, drinking or open containers of car entirely, our laws are a little different. However, he knew he was calling in a false call. He does it on live stream.
Yeah, it
There's
does.
proof that he knew that car wasn't running. All these other things prior to that. So it proves he made a false call. And there are like at least 3 of those incidents where I can prove to a judge and to police, and police can clearly see he has made false calls he knew were false when he had them done. There's proof right here in front of you all. And I mean, the stuff he gets up to, and we know in the background, it's like the handoffs between P.O. boxes during that fundraiser and 423 and all these criminal things he's getting up to around these cases, including Summers. I really want to honestly see this guy in prison by the time this is over. And I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Did you ever know, I guess, Gene with Sean?
That's the thing. They keep trying to put this Brad and Gene with Sean thing. I didn't know Brad. I only met Brad once when they sent him here. That was
Mhm.
it. Everybody around here knows the Shrek guy that had the car lot. Everybody here locally knew the guy was dirty as shit not to buy a car off of him. I mean, he was a fucking laughing stock of East Tennessee. He was notorious around here. But did I know him personally? Nope. Do I know do I know whoever the fuck Gene is? Absolutely not. Did they at some point apparently live in a house we used to live in years prior to when they lived there? Yeah, apparently it looks like. But do I know him? No. It's East Tennessee, man. Like you've been
Right.
here, right, Rev?
Mhm.
In the
Yeah, of
area.
course. Yep.
And really, they make it like, oh, well, these car lots and these things are all, around here you have Eastman to work at, one of the healthcare facilities that are out monopolized and now have a certificate of need through the state because of the Trump administration. They destroyed our healthcare. So you basically have one of the healthcare things to work at that ain't paying. All the stuff's really fouler in here right now. And a lot of our great medical care, world class healthcare has moved along. People are getting paid better elsewhere. All of our, look, so you have healthcare stuff, you have Eastman, that doesn't do worth shitting for anyway, or fast food mart, or one of the freaking car lots to work at. That's what you've got here for employment. Okay.
Right. Mhm.
So everybody kind of knows everybody or knows of somebody or whatever, but I'd never heard of any of the Wishons except for the Shrek Con auto guy, and that was because he's just so notorious around here. And I think he's still in jail or prison. But knowing him personally, no. No. But it
Mhm.
does look like Scotchy Breeches and all of them, they do know each other. There's all kinds of connections back to others, you know, through this, like Scotch, Linda, a few others. I mean, they have connections with Tucker Drywall, and things. And Scotch used to work at freaking Lowe's with others that are involved and right up on the hill with, and all these things that lead back to locals involved on one hand. It's very weird how Tragedy Pimpville and the first players in are kind of around here. I don't like it.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't either. Especially if they're spreading, false narratives. Something about trail cams that they take pics on the 15th. Do you have any
I,
pics?
I'm not going to talk. Look, here's the thing. The police have all of, they've told you all. There's an interview on WJHL. It's true. It's the last one I did a couple months ago.
Mhm.
And others, they say they have all the tech, all the cams, all the pictures, all this, that, and the other. I do not want to give out locate, and they keep trying to get that from Monster as well and others around this to try to pull out where again, and that is a very sensitive thing. Anybody with common sense has to know that that could be very detrimental to Summer's case and could alarm or set off or let whoever's done this know exactly where all things were or were photographing or recording. And I'll tell you that even C&D are not aware of all the things inside of there. So I think that it's something they're very much trying to pull out of all of us around
Mhm.
Summer. And it's because, and I know the public's interested, whatever, right? But that is something that I think is very sensitive and doesn't the locations of or who had or who didn't or where and what and all that. But
Of
I
course.
mean, trail cams, there were trail cams added after Summer vanished, and that's all I'll really say. I race anything. Somebody did when and I do have the messages where I did report that to law enforcement. So does Monster. I think they are on Monster's phone as well. It was reported to one of the lead detectives that and how the cameras got erased by someone else.
Mhm.
And we're always told once certain cameras were added that someone else.
Mhm.
And we're always told once certain cameras were added that they always, and I know that I have messages proving that, but they were always told they had access to those 24 hours a day anytime they wanted them. They could take in and out cards or recording things, whatever they wanted. Didn't matter. They didn't have to have permission from us. It was already,
Right.
and that was after. But I will tell you that I do have SD cards like full of search, like all the stuff. Yes, but it's here. It won't be released. Like all the stuff. Yes, but it's here. It won't be released like really publicly and things like that. But
And it shouldn't be.
the trail cams, and all that, where they're at is, you know, But I did not erase anything.
So, is there any false narratives from Tragedy Pimpville that they're pushing that you want to set straight right now?
Didn't you continually like yesterday? You're like, no, Jody, see, we're not doing 12-hour live, and then today with our 12-hour live, you got exactly right. Look, I would just like people to use common sense. There were search dog, cadaver dogs, repeatedly, thousands searching. Like just this is not an Andy Griffith show type of thing. My dogs didn't do anything to anyone, especially Summer. Uh, Pretty sure that there'd be evidence of that had there been, and y'all need to think, scent dogs and cadaver dogs wouldn't miss some shit like that. And if the cops thought that important, that would already been, oh yeah, 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 okay. And Sun didn't drive. Red Truck hadn't been in there forever, and I mean, and also, I'll make this real clear. It did not stop at my feet to be stopping at my feet. It didn't hit on a scent. The handler was kind of being an ass, and he was mad. And my dogs, two of my dogs, were down there, and so were everybody else's. And you'll hear Candace mention this in her own interviews and things here on Tragedy Pinkville, that we weren't like notified. Like the dogs came in pretty quick, which is a second.
Mm-hmm.
They come in. There was no. I mean, look, we didn't have time to go back and forth and put dogs up and everything else. We were all searching for Summer. We were being interviewed. Had they been like, "Hey, put the dogs up real quick," the other ones coming, we would have done that. However, my dogs are at the bottom, but they were behaving. And then that dog stops, and it was very much distracted by other things, and it was a little whatever. It wasn't about my dog. He was bitching about everything going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the dog did not hit on anything, didn't stop at my feet, be something. The handler stopped him. You know what I mean? But also the dog was trying to play with my dogs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. And then also people try to put this nefarious thing like, why did Jody Sue walk in the creek to wash her sin off or whatever? And I had a shit, by the way. And I said in some of my first things, it was like I didn't want to like cover up Summer's like anything, right? I have a shit ton of perfume on. I don't want to be walking through the brush part or anything and breaking things, and leaving and like if Summer scents on it, right? And I walk past it and I break it or do anything to it and I've got a shit ton of perfume on it, it's likely to cover up her scent, making it less likely for dogs and stuff to, you know, percent, making it less likely for dogs and stuff to, you know, be able to pick up her scent.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? But
Right.
either way, the creek needed to be searched because it was deep enough for her to have. And also, you don't want to walk on the sides of the banks of any water like that because that's where, look, country kids, they gravitate towards the creeks to play in. Secondly, you're going to be able to pick up animal tracks or anybody crossing back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured, right? It's like, in the woods like that, what happens if you cannot find someone? They immediately will bring in dogs and things. However, it usually does take them a little bit, or the community gets there hunting dogs together and things and gets sent and does whatever. And so, that's the thing. People think all this stuff's nefarious, but if you live in the woods and mountains like that, that's pretty much a given, right? And that's the thing. People think all this stuff's nefarious, but if you live in the woods and mountains like that, that's pretty much a given, right? And walking creeks is not a big deal for us, and kind of knowing what to do. I mean, And Lisa says, "Well, wasn't you afraid of getting a needle?" And, it doesn't matter. I know there's drug paraphernalia, of course, concern, right? But I'm not going to not do what's necessary to find a missing child. I would hate to think that anybody would be like, well, and I've heard people tell me that I should have went back up to the house and gotten boots or shoes or whatever. To what? Walk in the middle of a creek and a body of water to be logged down by?
Now, is this the
Right?
shoe everybody keeps bringing up? Because the whole chat's talking about a shoe.
No, they're on that shoe thing. And it's because Ernie wants to know, and the shoe thing's kind of, I mean, there's stuff with shoes there, but look, Ernie didn't make it into some shit it ain't. I don't think that Big Harry Bell should have possession of things like that. I don't think any of those people from Tragedy Pit Bill should have been allowed on 110 period, or on any other properties or witnesses' properties, to possibly still possess or get possession of things that could be planted for setups, because I've watched this place send us all pictures and messages trying to make us call in on stuff they say has been dropped off by C and D or this and the other after these tragedy pimps have been around or near 110, and I don't like that one bit. I don't think somebody like BK and them are fucking up stuff should have possession of. They don't care about someone. I don't think they should have possession of any item of hers, period.
He's creating the troll with her name. I mean, that's just sick and disgusting.
But the shoe itself, I mean, they just found it outside. It was when they were there like last fall. It was him, 423, Cam, the whole bunch, and they found it outside. One of them wanted it, right? But there's stuff around shoes. But I mean, I just, you know.
So someone's saying that there was a shoe found in your car. Is that a rumor or what is that?
No, there's not a shoe found in my car, and I'm assuming that one of my domestic violence videos, which by the way I'd made prior to coming out public about Summer, I'd mentioned that there was a baby shoe that did not belong to me, a little one, about this big, and it was clearly like a male's shoe, right? And I still have it black and white, and it's really a little one's, an itty bitty one's shoe. It was stuck up in my door where I kept finding footprints where somebody had been fucking in my back seat and all kinds of shit. Found it wedged up underneath things. So at some point, somebody had smaller children in my car, and one of them lost a shoe. And I made a video, and I mentioned that, there were clues all along about what people were doing on their extracurricular time. So that was all. And now somebody's commingled it with, well, there was a shoe found in Jody's shoes. No, there wasn't.
Yeah, the rumors are insane, and you definitely got to clear them up for sure. That's kind of wanted to talk with you. Like this one here from Ernie Shell. Andy and Dawn hung out with each other. There have been people who saw them together. What were they selling?
They did not. They did not. Dawn and Andy, like, look, they would, talk to whatever around, whatever, but they didn't go hang out, didn't go out, eat nowhere. They didn't play golf together. They weren't, in his way of limited time and things. He did, could they have met out in town? People have seen them meeting for something, whatever. Sure, absolutely. But did they hang out? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. Were they like buddies, pals, Applebee's dinner? Fuck no.
Another thing here that relates to that says Jody Sue said the pills Andy sold could have been used to potentially drug young girls. Is that true?
Look, in my FAFO video, TM and them pushing there, she had clear clarification inside of there that day because she was trying to push in there. She's like, Jody, I need you to explain to me. By this time, already trying to push in the attack cycle with Shay, CZ, the whole nine, right? I knew it was coming. I called it. But anyway, then TM wants to use that moment to start shit. But anyway, what I said was, all right, that to them, I don't know what else, and that pot had a sedative effect. I was worried that it could be used for XYZ, that it was a worry, like a theory, a thought, all right, and that I didn't know what else he was getting up to, but I knew at least pot. All that stuff was clarified eons ago. I never said or that he helped give them to or anything like he, what I mean, he was over doing something. People have taken that and just made it into a whole ass thing, and it really boils down to tragedy pit builder. And TM and Chasen the next day on panel, TM is like, oh yeah, I had clarification. Then Chasen pops up, and Chasen's like, no, I'm going to talk for him. I'll tell you what Jesse meant in this area. And so TM lets it start getting twisted. Then guess who pops up on panel? TM lets up on there. Well, it's BK, and then Scott's calling Chasen, and then the rest is freaking history. Okay. I know Andy did pills and all kinds of other shit. I have a lot of suspicions he was quite likely on a lot of shit. What they were all doing amongst each other, I have no fucking clue. All right. And what they were doing back and forth, I have no clue. But I do, know that I absolutely did say that, he sold pot there. I didn't know what else he fucking, was doing. And, I do know that at least it was being, given to kids, which, I will not name the specific ones that I know, but the thing is that that's really nothing new. I mean, so you kind of always been like the party house for teenagers too, etc. TM and the rest tried to make it this whole thing. Like I said, Andy was selling sedative pills or whatever, and it was specifically meant for, and all this shit, and that's not what the hell it was. So, I encourage you to go watch the FAFO video. It's still up. And you can clearly hear me address TM and tell her that, and give her the absolute clarification. She still went with that panel, and there's BK and Scott and Chase, and they want to push it. And so, and do a narrative and a spin with it. And you can clearly tell she knew better and she went and lied and pushed a narrative and spun shit.
So is weed the only thing Andy would sell?
As far as like other workmates, things like that, I know him doing other things, especially there at last. But I don't know what his interactions were with 125 and what all was coming doing. I have no idea, and so therefore his actions outside of there aren't really for the
Okay.
public, but I'm sure that Ellie's well aware.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. So what do you think? I mean, out of all the things that could have happened this summer, what do you think happened? Do you think she got abducted from the property from someone that she knows? Do you think it was an accident? What do you think happened?
Don't I mean like the thing with me is I have certain puzzles with fires. I have not come to any firm conclusion or one firm like puzzle or idea. I mean, there are many possibilities, and I still think that. I think that it's possible. It was a controlled abduction. I think it's possible that it was even familial or someone that had met her or known her. I even think that because we all know here locally that a particular we
Mhm.
all kind of stopped going to it and taking our kids to it because the playground area, which is an amazing playground they had just built, but there had been quite a few like weirdos, if you get my drift, caught there
Yeah.
and read all kinds of things, and they were sitting on the benches watching the kids. It could be that somebody's seen Summer like out there swimming at the horse pond or anything, and been like, hey, and then followed them around until they got back to Ben Hill. That's even a possibility. I mean, there are all kinds of possibilities. It could be any of the dozens and dozens and dozens and who knows how many people that came in to look at the freaking property that could have seen Summer. Um, that were in it, and most of those were out of state. Most of the real estate postings for it were geared towards out of state buyers who couldn't come walk it and really see it in person and were stupid enough to buy as is, blah blah blah, and really see it in person and were stupid enough to buy as is, blah blah blah, and so that it was mostly out of staters that were coming to look at and doing whatever. It could be wood crew, brush cutters, it could be any number of things. It could be one of the weirdos